This isn't just another story about drill music or Chicago violence. This is about loyalty. This is about brotherhood. And most importantly, this is about what happens when an empire built on the streets starts crumbling, and the people you love most pay the ultimate price while you're locked behind bars, completely powerless to do anything about it. Chicago is mourning right now. The city just lost THF Bayzoo, and if you know anything about the politics of Chicago's drill scene, you know this name carries serious weight. We're talking about one of Lil Durk's closest allies, a real one from day one, not somebody who just jumped on the wave when the music started popping. And the timing of this? Man, it couldn't be worse. Lil Durk is sitting in federal custody right now, facing charges that could put him away for life, and he's getting this news from behind bars. Imagine that for a second. You're locked up, fighting for your freedom, and you find out one of your brothers just got killed in broad daylight back home.
3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis.
And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Let me paint the picture of how this went down. Bayzoo was on Chicago's west side at a junkyard. Middle of the day. Not some dark alley at 3 in the morning, not some after-hours spot where you might expect something to pop off. A junkyard, broad daylight. 2 shooters pulled up and opened fire without hesitation. Bayzoo was hit 3 times, and one of those rounds came from a 7.62 Draco. If you know anything about firearms, you know that's not some regular street piece. That's serious firepower, fam. That chest wound was devastating. They rushed him to the hospital, but he didn't make it. Just like that, another soldier was gone. The tributes started flooding in immediately. Duty Low, CEO Big 30, Poosh ISD, all these names from the rap game and the streets paying their respects. And that tells you something right there. This wasn't just some random person. This was somebody who touched lives, somebody who commanded respect from coast to coast. But for Lil Durk, sitting in that cell, reading those tributes, knowing he can't post his own, can't attend the funeral, can't even call the family, that's a different type of pain. That's the type of pain that eats at your soul. Now let's talk about who Bayzoo really was, because his story matters. This wasn't some rapper trying to act tough for the cameras. THF Bayzoo was the real deal. He was the leader of THF 46, which stands for Trigger Happy Family. And when I say leader, I don't mean he was just a respected member. Bayzoo was running operations. He was the one making decisions, organizing moves, holding down the block. THF 46 controlled the 46th and Drexel area in North Kenwood, and that territory wasn't handed to them. That was earned through blood, through loyalty, through warfare that's been going on for years. Here's something interesting about THF 46 that a lot of people don't know. The set was actually a hybrid. You had Black Disciples and Mickey Cobras coming together under one banner. That's rare in Chicago, where gang politics are usually rigid and territorial. But THF made it work, and Bayzoo was at the center of keeping that alliance strong. Let's keep it all the way real. Bayzoo had a violent past. The streets know this, the police know this, everybody knows this. He was linked to multiple bodies, caught a murder charge at one point, but he beat that case. That tells you something about how he moved. He was smart. He was calculated, and he knew how to navigate the system. This wasn't some studio gangster rapping about a life he never lived. Bayzoo lived it every single day. THF's rivalries ran deep. We're talking about beef with Euro 51 Young Money, STLEBT, Jero City, 757, Brick Squad. These weren't Twitter beefs or diss track competitions. These were real, deadly conflicts that resulted in real bodies dropping on both sides. But THF also had powerful alliances. They were tight with O-Block, with 600, and of course with OTF, Lil Durk's crew. That's how Bayzoo and Durk became so close. It wasn't industry politics. It was genuine street loyalty forged through shared experiences, shared enemies, and shared losses. Now here's where Bayzoo's story gets really deep, and this is what makes his death even more tragic. In 2018, after doing some jail time, Bayzoo started changing his life. He converted to Islam, and he did it alongside King Von. Both of them took their Shahada together. For those who don't know, the Shahada is the Islamic declaration of faith. It's the first step when you convert, and it's not something you do lightly. This was a serious spiritual transformation. Bayzoo started living more righteously. He was trying to leave the violence behind, trying to be a better man, trying to walk a different path. Now don't get it twisted. He still represented THF. He was still loyal to his brothers. But personally, he was evolving. He was growing. He was becoming someone different from who he used to be. And that's what makes this whole situation so heartbreaking. Here's a man who was actively trying to change his life, trying to do better, trying to leave the negativity behind, and he still ended up dying in the streets. That's the cruel reality of this lifestyle. Sometimes the streets don't let you go, even when you're trying to walk away. Let's shift focus to Lil Durk for a minute, because understanding his situation is crucial to understanding why Bayzoo's death hits so different. On October 24th, 2024, Lil Durk was arrested by federal agents at a Miami airport. Not local police, not state authorities, the feds. And when the feds come for you, that's a completely different level of legal trouble. They don't move unless they have a case built solid as concrete. The charge? Conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Specifically, they're saying Durk was was involved in the plot to kill Quando Rondo's cousin, Lul Pab. This goes back to the King Von situation, the shooting in Atlanta that took Von's life. The feds are alleging that Durk organized retaliation, and if convicted, he's looking at life in federal prison. This isn't a maybe. This isn't a possibility. This is what he's facing right now. But it wasn't just Durk who got hit. 5 other OTF members were arrested the same day. Coordinated raids, multiple cities. The feds came with everything. We're talking about banking records, flight manifests, surveillance footage, witness statements. They've been building this case for a long time, and they're not playing around. This isn't something you beat with a good lawyer and some legal tricks. This is serious federal conspiracy charges, and the government has receipts. And here's where it gets even worse for Durk. His assets are frozen. His accounts are seized. Everything he built, all that money from the music, from the tours, from the deals, it's all locked up. His empire isn't just crumbling. It's being dismantled piece by federal prosecutors. Think about that trajectory. Durk went from Grammy nominations to #1 albums to sitting in a federal holding cell watching everything he loves fall apart. That's a different type of fall from grace, family. Now imagine being Lil Durk in that moment when he hears about Bayzoo. You're already fighting for your life legally. You're already dealing with the stress of potentially never being free again. Your whole crew is locked up. Your money is frozen. And then you get the news that one of your closest brothers just got killed back home. He's trapped, completely trapped. He can't attend the funeral. He can't comfort Duty Low, who was like family to both him and Bayzoo. He can't post a tribute on Instagram like he would have done before. He can't even call people to find out what really happened. He's sitting in a cell, getting information secondhand, dealing with grief in complete isolation. That's psychological torture, no cap. Meanwhile, the tributes are pouring in from everywhere. Duty Low, Big 30, Pooh Shiesty, all posting heartfelt messages about Bayzoo. Their words showed how deeply loved and respected this man was. And it wasn't just Chicago artists either. Rappers from different cities, different states, people who never even met Bayzoo in person were posting condolences. That's the kind of impact he had. That's the kind of respect he commanded. But for Durk, seeing all those tributes while being unable to add his own voice, that's a special kind of pain. The worst part isn't just losing someone you love. The worst part is the helplessness. It's being powerless to do anything about it. Powerless to protect your people. Powerless to even mourn properly. That eats at you in ways most people can't comprehend. Now let's talk about why Bayzoo was even back in Chicago in the first place, because this is where the story gets really dark. When Lil Durk was arrested and his assets got frozen, something crucial happened that people on the outside don't always think about. The OTF money pipeline stopped, just like that, overnight. See, when Durk was free and the money was flowing, he took care of his people. We're talking about cars, rent payments, legal fees, bills, everything. That's what OTF stood for, only the family, and Durk made sure his family was good. But when the feds seized everything, that support system collapsed. Everybody had to fend for themselves. And for somebody like Bayzoo, who had a criminal record, who was known throughout Chicago, who couldn't just go get a regular 9 to 5, that meant going back to the streets. Reports say Bayzoo started moving weed again to pay his bills. Just basic survival stuff. But here's the thing about the streets. Once you step back in, even for something as simple as selling weed, you become a target again. You're exposed. You're vulnerable. And Bayzoo was moving without the same level of protection he had when OTF money was flowing. No security, no buffer. Just him trying to survive in a city where he had multiple enemies who never forgot about him. Somebody learned his movements. Somebody found out he was back active in Chicago, and they planned that ambush at the junkyard. That wasn't random. That was calculated. They knew where he'd be, and they brought the type of firepower that doesn't leave room for survival. So let's dig into why this actually happened. Because the streets are talking, and there are 2 main theories floating around. Theory number 1, this was a drug deal gone wrong. Maybe Bayzoo was at that junkyard for a business meeting. Maybe it was supposed to be a transaction, but something went sideways. Could have been a robbery attempt, could have been a dispute over money or product, could have been anything. But here's what makes me question that theory. The firepower used in this hit, a 7.62. Draco isn't what you bring to a simple robbery or a deal gone bad. That's overkill. That's personal. That's the type of weapon you bring when you're trying to make a statement. Theory number 2, and this is the one that's gaining more traction in the streets. Retaliation. About a month before Bayzoo was killed, a DMG rapper named Lil Scoom got murdered. DMG is a group that had issues with THF, and street rumors immediately started pointing fingers at THF 46 for Scoom's death. Whether THF was actually responsible or not, perception is reality in these streets. If people believe you did it, you become a target. Word is that DMG's circle was plotting revenge. They wanted to send a message back to THF, and when they found out Bayzoo was back in Chicago, moving around without heavy security, they saw their opportunity and took it. The precision of the attack, the high-caliber weapons used, the fact that it happened in broad daylight, all of that points to a planned retaliation hit. This wasn't some random encounter. This was an execution. And here's the cruel irony that really gets me. Bayzoo might have died for a situation he wasn't even personally involved in. That's how this cycle works. Somebody from your set does something, and now you're a target just because of your affiliation. That's the price of loyalty in these streets. Let's talk about what's going through Lil Durk's mind right now, because this is deeper than just grief. First, there's the guilt. Durk blames himself for Bayzoo's death. In his mind, if he hadn't gotten arrested, if the money hadn't stopped flowing, Bayzoo wouldn't have needed to go back to the streets. He'd still be alive. That's the type of guilt that destroys you from the inside. Whether it's rational or not doesn't matter. That's what he's feeling. Then there's the isolation. He can't mourn publicly. He can't attend the funeral. He can't even have a real conversation with the people who are going through the same pain. He's cut off from his support system at the exact moment he needs it most. That's designed to break you mentally. The losses keep stacking up. King Von gone since 2020. His brother gone in 2021. Now Bayzoo. His freedom is gone. His empire is crumbling. His money is frozen. Everything he built over the last decade is falling apart, and he's watching it happen from behind bars, completely powerless to stop it. And then there's the betrayal. A lot of people in the industry who were posting OTF, who were claiming to be family when times were good, they disappeared the second Durk got arrested. Those fair-weather friends showed their true colors real quick. But the people who stayed loyal, the people who were really family, they're the ones dying. They're the ones paying the price. That realization hits different when you're locked up with nothing but time to think about it. Durk is going through what I can only describe as a forced reflection period. He's realizing who was truly loyal and understanding that his loyalty to them couldn't protect them. That's a heavy burden to carry. Bayzoo's death is more than just another tragedy. It's a reflection of Chicago's endless cycle of loyalty, violence, and consequence. OTF was built on the principles of family and protection. Only the family meant something. It meant we take care of each other, we protect each other, we ride for each other no matter what. But once the money stopped flowing, once that financial foundation crumbled, survival instincts kicked in. People had to do what they had to do to eat, to pay bills, to survive. Members who had been living different lives, who had moved away from the streets, they had to revert back to street activity. And the cruel reality is that the streets don't release people easily. Once you step back in, you're even more vulnerable than you were before because now you're moving different. You're older. You're not as sharp as you used to be. The young guys coming up, they see you as a name to make for themselves. For Lil Durk, this is literally his worst nightmare playing out in real time. His people are dying while he's powerless to do anything about it. He can't protect them. He can't provide for them. He can't even mourn with them. He's just stuck, watching everything fall apart. Let's talk about loyalty for a minute, because that's really what this whole story comes down to. Bayzoo's loyalty to Lil Durk was unwavering. Even after Durk got arrested, even when it wasn't safe to publicly support OTF, Bayzoo stayed down. He kept posting OTF. He kept representing. He stayed loyal till his last breath. But where did that loyalty lead him? To dying alone in a junkyard at too young an age. And that raises a question that I think we all need to sit with. What is loyalty really worth when the system can destroy everything overnight? What does it mean to be loyal to the end when the end comes so violently and so prematurely? The streets glorify loyalty. It's praised in every rap song. It's the foundation of gang culture. It's what separates the real from the fake. But that same loyalty leads to caskets before 35 more, often than it leads to success stories. For every Lil Durk who makes it out and builds something, there are hundreds of Bayzoos who die representing a set, a crew, a family that ultimately couldn't save them. Look at Lil Durk's world right now. King Von, dead in 2020. His brother dead in 2021. Now Bayzoo dead in 2025. OTF is collapsing. His freedom is gone. His loyal friends are dying. The empire he built to take care of everybody is being dismantled by federal prosecutors. And now we're left with haunting questions that don't have easy answers. Will THF retaliate for Bayzoo's death? Will this cycle continue spinning until there's nobody left? When does it stop? Who breaks the chain? The truth is, stories like this keep happening because the system that creates them is still in place. Poverty, lack of opportunities, generational trauma, gang politics that go back decades. All of that creates an environment where young men feel like they have to choose between loyalty to their brothers and survival. And too often, choosing loyalty means choosing death. Bayzoo was trying to change. He found faith. He was evolving, but the streets pulled him back in when he needed money to survive. And once you're back in, the targets on your back never really go away. Your enemies don't forget. They're just waiting for their opportunity. For Lil Durk, sitting in that cell right now, this is the cost of the life he lived and the empire he built. The question is whether anything changes from here, or if this is just another chapter in Chicago's endless book of tragedy.